So once we have procured our land certificate, now we can be sure that we are free. Everything is intact.
It is prima facie evidence of ownership.
Okay.
But we did mention conducting a search.
Right.
But the law enjoins the prospective purchaser to conduct two forms of searches.
Okay.
One at the law office and another which is an informal search. So you go to the property, you see that there are people in occupation, and you ignore them and go to the lands office to say that, oh, nobody has registered the land.
Okay.
That possession is a strong form of evidence which can affect your title one day. So there are a few instances where the law, though a land might have been registered, the registration can be set aside by the court.
Okay.
Yes. So it is not always the case that immediately you register your land forever and ever, nothing can be done. There are limited instances like if fraud, there's an underlying fraud or mistake, the court can set aside the registration of your process.
And my Lord had earlier also spoken about judgments. There are certain times that, particularly in Accra, you're going to acquire the land, and how the family or the person will show you that they own it is to show you a judgment of the court that they have been awarded or adjudged as the owners of the land. That's why he says, be sure that the judgment that they are showing you is a judgment from maybe at the final stage of the process. If there are two judgments, and he has explained that, and all the judgments are coming from courts of what he calls concurrent or coordinate, jurisdiction, like the High Court, one has it from here, one has it from another place, or Circuit Court and so on, then it will not be registered and it may not be the best for you. But if there's another one, someone has one that is from the Court of Appeal, one has one from the High Court, then the one from the Court of Appeal is safe. If there's one from the Supreme Court, then all the better, because that is the final, so to speak. So take note of that when you are doing your investigation of title. They just show you and you say that's okay.
Before we proceed, in respect of judgment, there's this principle which states that a prior purchaser of land is not estopped by a judgment subsequently obtained.
Please explain that.
A prior purchaser of land. Let's say Chief A granted land to me in 1970, and along the line he was disturbed or something happened, he's no longer there. We now have a new chief who is sued, or they go to court and the court gives judgment against my grantor. They can't turn around to say that because my grantor has lost the land, I should surrender the land. In other words, a judgment takes prospective effect. So when we are applying the principle of res judicata, res judicata means a judgment of a court binds the parties and their assigns. So if we decide a case today, tomorrow, my grantee or my assign cannot turn around and go to court in respect of the same subject matter. Right. But this principle applies to those who acquire the land from the day of the judgment. So that if I acquire my land before the judgment cannot be backdated to affect my interest I acquired lawfully at the time.
All right.